Hi there, welcome. It is Chanda Sparkles, intuitive evolutionary astrologer, death doula, sacred energy sound healer, and all of those other wonderful labels that we have to use to introduce ourselves. So let's play together in the world of the cosmos, and let's Virgo. By the way, karmas are coming into play. And you know this is a and you know this is a solar eclipse. It's opposite to Saturn, because Saturn is right there out of sign, yes, in Pisces at 28, out of sign, yes, in Pisces at 28 degrees, because it just retrograded back. So but it's still catching that opposition. And anytime you're dealing with Saturn, you're dealing with restrictions, blocks, reform, a lot of structures and boundaries, being accountable. There's a lot of accountability that is needed right now. I don't know what's up with this thing. It keeps getting in my face. Anyway, lots of breaking down to break through. I would see, think about a bridge or a levee breaking. That's like Saturn energy in Pisces, thinking about the dams and structural waters. Also, it's like chemicals, chemical spills, oil and gas, bad stuff going on there, fracturing and fracturing. This is also bringing forward all of our drug. I would look at Pisces as like LSD, heroin, all of the out there drugs. And then Virgo would be like what you get prescribed from your doctor, that's pharmaceutical, so that's all coming into play. Plus people just losing their shit. Like literally mentally, people are checking out. People are going to check out mentally. This is the energy that we're dealing with here. I wouldn't be surprised if you have mental illness or other people have mental illnesses. This is something to be in realization of, that, I want to be on my game. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of taking my meds if you're on them, or doing whatever holistic measures that it takes for you, to be able to handle this kind of an extreme dynamic energy of an eclipse. This is extreme energy. Okay, and I will tell you this: as much as I love you, Virgos, and it's okay. I know I'm not going to offend you because I know it's okay. You get it, but you can be a little much sometimes. You can be a little over critical, over analytical. You know, sometimes it can be like, whoa, because you are like Mercury. You know, Mercury is the God messenger, and he goes around and he sends messages, and he goes and he talks to Pluto in the underworld, and then he'll pop up and talk to, you know, Jupiter, which is go anywhere. And Mercury being your ruler, you have to really realize that you embody all of that mercurial, flighty, everything's happening really fast, but you embody it. Whereas Gemini just has it all right here. You got all of it, all up and down. So this Mercury is going to conjoin this eclipse. This Mercury is going to conjoin this eclipse. Is going to conjoin this eclipse. And it's also, you know, I'm sorry, not Mercury. This also, you know, I'm sorry, not Mercury. This solar eclipse is going to be conjoined to Mercury. And it's going to be conjoined to Mercury. And it's conjoined to the south karmic node of fate. Okay, so this is a south node eclipse. It's about what are you flushing? What are you releasing? What are you letting go? How are you going to manage your life by letting the release happen? It's not so much as saying, okay, I'm going to just let release happen. It's not so much as saying, okay, I'm going to just let that go. And fully embodied, Virgo, I am fully embodying this release. I'm fully involved in my process. That's another involved in my process. That's another Virgo thing, process. Other Virgo thing, processes. You know, Virgo is the one that's going to put all her clothes color coded in the closet. Sometimes that's a Libra. You know, it's I want all my tabs labeled. You know, I want everything filed away nicely. I know I have this labeled, I have that labeled. That can also be very Scorpionic. I'm just saying, I like labels on things. But this is getting your shift together. Every year we go from Leo, which is all about ego. Look at me, I'm the star of the show, to Virgo, and that's the transition. So get it from Aries all the way up until you get to Leo. Okay, we got some interference. Something's coming through already. Okay, anyway. Interesting. Okay, so they're telling me to move on, but I gotta say this first. All right, so from Aries all the way up to Leo, those are the simple signs that are only about the singular of the soul. Okay, it's not. It has nothing to do with anything with others. But once you get to Virgo, that's when the soul is transitioning to understand how to deal with others. It's the brand new baby soul all the way up until you get to Virgo. And then the soul is like, oh, you mean there's other beings that I have to interact with? There's other folks here, that other groups, other, whatever, relations, period. So Virgo is always about us learning about the transition. The entire season of Virgo is always about learning in transition. So what do we do when we're in transition? We think we're going to go, then we got to stop. We got to stop and go, back and forth. Throw in a South Node karmic eclipse, you're stopping and going, and you're releasing and going back and forth in order that you can be able to be ready for Libra season, which is all about relationships and love and community, dealing with one-on-one. It's when the soul first learns, hey, there's somebody else here. So This is, I'm gonna speak before I go into this chart. I'm gonna speak to some of these notes that I have. Another interesting thing about this eclipse is that it's at this. It's really close right there to the super new moon galactic center. Did I say super new moon? I'm sorry, y'all. I've got they're coming in really. I've got lots of messages coming through here, and I'm trying to do the astrology. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Okay, so it's conjunct to the super galactic center, not to be confused with the actual galactic center that's in Sagittarius. This is the super galactic center that's located at 2 degrees of Libra. So with it being at 29 degrees, it's within 3-degree orb of that super galactic center, okay? That is all about the mirror. What are you seeing in the mirror of self, okay? So when you think about how can I shift myself out of this, or how can I bring this in, right now is the time to think. The first thought should be, what am I looking in the mirror? And that means like with your relationships too, right? So what am I seeing in the mirror of self that's being reflected through others? Answer that. Sit and meditate on that. What am I seeing in the mirror of self that's being reflected of others, through others, excuse me? What is that? How can you learn to expand upon how you interact with the self? Okay? Self-care, yes, everyone needs that. But right now it's more about mentally understanding who you are within the mirror of self. What is shown to you, my loves? Okay, these 2 new moons, one started at the beginning of the season and one at the end of the season. 2 dark moons. A dark moon is the time period that we go within. We're in the void. We're not acting. We're not initiating. We're not moving forward until after that moon has crest and it's growing. So when you see and you look up in the sky, the new moon, which is probably going to be 2.5 days to 3 days at most after this, because this is a solar eclipse. So it may not pop right out within 24 hours. I would give it definitely 48 hours. So that's when you're going to start to learn to initiate. But I'm just going to be straight up and say right now, y'all are going to have a really hard time, self included, initiating anything right now. Like, for real, because this is the kickoff to the beginning of this 6-month cycle that will be actually being able to move forward, actually feeling that momentum, actually feeling like we can go. We've got 5 planetary bodies retrograde right now, okay? So this is a relook, revisit, revive, restructure, go back and see and what you did, what you do right there, and how can you make it better this time? How can you plan for the future, right? Your work and your health routines, that is like your day-to-day reality, your mundane reality, what you do with your day-to-day reality, that is Virgo. All of that stuff, we're learning to meticulously be more efficient in our day-to-day reality with this eclipse. That's very much activated in all of the aspects. The relationships, okay, some relationships are going to be realigned. So if you're looking at going back to a relationship, you may see that come forward in these weeks ahead. Okay, I would say within 3 to 6 weeks out from this eclipse. Whatever was in whatever was out of balance may be coming back into balance with all relationships. Healthy ones, Healthy ones. Let's keep it healthy. We know what's healthy, and we know what's good and what's right and what's wrong and what's not. Let's not go back to stuff that isn't healthy. Thank you. They're staying in my ears. Discerning clarity. Let's just think about that for a minute. Discerning clarity. How are you becoming more discerned through clarity? This is Mercurial, the winged messenger. Discernment. Don't forget, we have Saturn, a structured planet in Pisces, that's sitting there going, oh, you thought that was true? No, that was an illusion. You thought it was like this? No, sorry. That was an illusion. You're delusional. Hey, I'm right there with you, because I mean, I've had some stuff that I was just like, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. But then therefore, it was there, right? These are big South Karmic Node of Fate destined events. But I titled this video Destined Clarifications, because what's going to happen here is that throughout all of this process, in every single one of our situations, whatever your life is, whatever's going on in your world, the one thing I do know is that as you go through this process, you're going to find out some very destined, fated conversations. You'll have these conversations, and then you come forward and you have this clarification. And that's what it's about right now. It's about transition and learning what's clarified, and being very clear. Even what I'm doing right now, that's very Virgo. Learning to embody the energy of Virgo. Getting organized, cleaning out shit. I've heard from more people, everybody's cleaning their shit out. Trust, I knew it was coming. I knew this was coming. I knew this was, I was like, last year, I probably could have stayed at that house that I was at forever. But I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm going to be really struggling if I try to do it next year. If I try to kick this off now, oh my gosh. No. It's like, go ahead and get it over with, kind of energy. We're creating structured new routines. We're creating routines that are going to be easier in the flow. I do also see more government leaders faltering throughout this, like more government leaders leaving, whether that means exiting the planet or it means leaving their spot. I would keep an eye on that. I wrote that down. This is opposite Saturn out of sign. We could see something like big uprising of like labor intensive type of stuff happening with this eclipse. Shortages, overalls, overalls. Did I say overalls? Overhauls. Labor markets dropping, financial markets. Now the market has been really high, right? The market's been like, but I would not be surprised if there is like a big change in that somewhere along the way within this next, I would give it a couple weeks, but I would think really like this week coming, for sure. Also, big pharma and elderly crises, like with our medicine energy, because that's another thing. Virgo is everyone of service. Anybody who is of service to you is creating a Virgo archetype type characteristic. So that's from service members to nurses to astrologers, sound healers, it service industry, but it's also our military. So that could be increasing as we move right on into Libra the day after the equinox. Or the day of the equinox, the day after this solar eclipse, which I'm about to show you on the chart. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I wrote down eclipses go backwards. Think about that. Because in order for eclipse to happen, it's the south node that comes into play, or the north node that comes into play. The head of the dragon and the ass of the dragon. Rahu and Ketu, which, by the way, they asked me to call out the dragon cards today. If anybody's wondering, yes, we got cards coming right after the astrology. So I wrote, eclipses go backwards. The nodes always go retrograde. They're forever going retrograde. So we let go or shed, release in order to let in. Hence the sun moving across the shadow of the earth, or depending upon what, if it's a lunar or solar eclipse, whatever, right? Acceptance of release with no denial. Acceptance of the release with no denial. Acceptance. Can you be in full acceptance of that release that you must let go? Car, family, house, whatever it is, job, relationships, whatever it is for you, fill in the blank. Acceptance of the release with no denial. Meaning you cannot deny that is meant to be. Sometimes we just can't fix it. And that's a big Virgo thing. Virgo likes to fix everything. Let me fix this. Let me fix that. Let me make that. And they're, most of them, pretty damn good at it, to be honest with you. But sometimes you can't fix it. Sometimes you have to surrender, right? You got to surrender that shit. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. And that's a tough piece of fat to bite off right there, right? Sometimes it just isn't going to work. And that's okay too. We're not going to say, oh, this is right or that is wrong, because it's all energy. It's how are you playing with your energy? How are you playing with your energy field, right? That's what it's about. Or you could get all mercurial and be all up in your head and then embody that shit like Virgo. Okay. All right. Let's go. I see everybody in the chat here. I'm going to kill these banners and we're going to come on down to Donkey Kong Town. And yes, I see all there. Troy's up in the house. Hi, Troy. Hi, Kat. Happy birthday. Robin's here. Sending love to Robin's mother, who seems to be doing pretty well. Good to hear about it, Jewel. Jess Black, she's all up in it. She says she's been looking forward to this for months. Actually, yeah, I know. It's been a long time. I'm so glad to be here. Kat's here. Let's see who else is. Oh, there's Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Sandy's in the house. Deva's here. Yay. Julie is here. Okay. Amy Ulrich, thanks to the moderators. So glad that you're here. Cat Wood. Yeah. Okay. I don't know who Miss Sana is, but hello. So glad to see you. Amy Ulrich is on the Facebook, and she's putting the link to the YouTube. If you want to pop over to the YouTube, there's a lot more people I'm seeing on the YouTube, and everyone in TikTok, thanks for being here. We're just popping around, and we're going to, seriously, if you're on TikTok and you want to actually see me annotate the screen, pop over to the YouTube, Chanda Sparkles Astrology. Okay, let's see here. Am I missing anything? There's Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Glad you're here. Sherry's here. Hi, Sherry. Aw, cool. Amy and Far. Hi there. Lynn, I know that you're excited about this. I know you are. Yes, the lion is in the house. Good evening, my sir. Good evening. Anna's here. Yes, something went wrong. Please don't tell me something went wrong. Yeah, it's gonna buffer sometimes. Okay, yeah, we're okay. Stop buffering. Okay. We're good. It's going to work out some kinks. Okay, I see Michelle. Michelle is here in the house. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, if I've missed you, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I've missed you, but I got to keep going or we'll be here for hours and hours and hours. Okay, yeah, they're getting it figured out. See, that's the other thing. When you're here in the chat on YouTube or on Facebook, because we multi-stream to all, you get to choose how we do the readings and what like what I can't even think how the sequence of how the readings are coming out, because that's all up to y'all. You direct me and I just do it, so it's all good, all good. Yeah, cool, awesome. Looks like they got that worked out. Troy says he has a Sun, Pluto, and Uranus conjunction in his midheaven in the Virgo in the 10th house. Better keep working at that. Everything you're transmuting is going to be sudden, sudden, sudden. Yeah. It's going to depend upon what you do for work, though. But I wouldn't just with a Sun Pluto conjunction, I wouldn't initiate anything ending right now. I'd kind of just keep going with whatever it is that you got and allow Uranus. Always, anytime Uranus comes up in it, always allow Uranus to bring you what the universe is offering, whether it's a breakout to break through or it's a breakdown to surrender and heal. It's anytime Uranus comes around your sun, your rising, your moon, or if it's speaking in aspect like a square, just let Uranus do its thing, because Uranus is unpredictable. It's like the wild card energy, and you just gotta open up, let go, and allow with Uranus. Yeah. Okay. All right. Both Facebook and YouTube are glitching, so we aren't hearing every word. We only hear one word every few minutes because the screen is freezing. What? I have a full signal. Wow, that's not good. Okay, let's make sure it's not microphone issues, because I'm showing on my end that it's clear. Y'all let me know if the sound is off or if it's the video that's off. Okay, let me know. Let me know if it's the sound on the YouTube. And Amy, if you would chime in and let me know if it's happening over on Facebook as well. If y'all are having little glitches there, let me know. Hey everybody on TikTok, how you doing? We are multi-streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm about to show the chart and annotate it over there. But you guys, please let me know if I need to do this, if there's something else I need to do, because on my end it looks like I've got full signal and that I am okay. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to get out of this, and then I'm going to go over here, and we're going to pull up this chart. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me, because my software service was telling me I needed to do something. Okay, so let me know on the YouTube or Facebook if there's any more video audio quality issues, because it might have just been something buffering, or like I said, with these energies, it's mercurial. So tell me if you cannot hear me, because I don't do all this. Michelle Milano is now saying the reality that you live in? How are you bringing structure into your reality? How are you visualize your life the way you want it to be, and then see it life the way you want it to be, and then see it to be so. I will tell you, for years I was out on that island, and though it's beautiful and I love the people of the island, I had a really great time living out there for the years that I did. But for 2 years, I kept going, man, I got to get off this island. I got to get out of here. I need different. I need to move. I need something else. I've got to shake up to break up. And you know what the catalyst was? My son fell down the stairs out there. And I'm like, this is it. That's it. Something, the catalyst fell down all the stairs from the very top. I mean, my God. I had PTSD for nights, and then I took it for 2 nights, and then I called in here, Kelly, and I was like, I gotta move. You need to get off the island. You need to get off the island. I didn't know home that has my own side, like my own apartment, to have my sound room, my studio, and my bedroom, and everything on one side, and that my son would have everything on one side, and that my son would have his own mother-in-law quarters on the other side, you know, and mother-in-law quarters on the other side, you know, and it came full. I brought it forward. Did I sit down and write it down? No, but I thought about it a lot. So whatever it is that you're trying to bring in, you think about it. Think. What is it going to look like? How's it going to feel? What are the smells of what you want to manifest into your life? This is where, right now, this is where, okay, when you put a seed in the ground, it has to sprout. This is where, okay, when you put a seed in the ground, it has to sprout, right?